Tonight at 6, KSTV's reporter Tatum Werns has a special look at the history of the May 4th Memorial on campus.
We have the details on the developments in the ceasefires as Iran and Israel are under negotiations.
A new cash conservation plan is being created by U.S. Postal Service. Stick around to see who is affected.
A new automatic registration process was approved by Congress. See what age demographics must be registered for the military draft. All this and more as KSTV at 6 starts right now.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Good Thursday evening, Portage County, and welcome back to Kent Stater TV. I'm Claire Duber.
And I'm Abby Kress. Thank you for joining us. We start tonight remembering Kent State's history.
That's right, Abby. We are taking an inside look at the history of Kent State May 4th Memorial.
KSTV's very own Tatum Werns has the details. Hi, Tatum. What can you tell us?
That's right. The anniversary of the May 4th shootings is coming up, and the Kent State May 4th Task Force held a history presentation of the May 4th Memorial today. From 1 to 5 p.m. Thursday, the May 4th Task Force, a student-led organization that honors the memory of the May 4th, 1970 shootings, offered short walk-up history presentations about the granite memorial behind Taylor Hall.
So we're kind of going through each step of the chronology to be able to just educate people about what happened with the memorial and why it looks the way it does today.
The memorial was dedicated in 1990 following a design competition, but it was actually the second-place design. The first-place winner was not chosen because he was not American. Photos were shown of what the memorial could have looked like otherwise.
It's a really important lesson. It really changed America. It really changed how people see things. It's like the first time a lot of white people realized that the government will use violence against them.
It was controversial whether the memorial should be constructed in the first place because some said it was honoring people who engaged in violent activity. So the task force says it is fortunate that it exists at all. All right, guys, so I'm out here. Behind me is the May 4th Memorial, and the event is designed so that people can just come up as they're walking to class and hear a short little presentation about the history of it. Members of the May 4th Task Force want participants to leave realizing how special the memorial is and hoping to encourage the Kent State community to remember what happened on that day nearly 56 years ago.
It's not just learning from the actual shootings that took place. It's also learning the context and how we can either acknowledge differences, respect each other, and things like that, but also just learning about history and being an educated person to be able to go forward in the world.
The May 4th Task Force will continue holding remembrance events, including their annual Candlelight Walk and Vigil on May 3rd. For KSTV News, I'm Tatum Werns.
Thank you, Tatum. Well, Ohio advocacy groups are suing federal agencies due to alleged immigration enforcement arrests with no probable warrant or cause. The lawsuit advocates for basic legal equity and claims that ICE agents often detain and arrest people without identifying them. ICE agents are permitted by law to conduct unauthorized arrests, provided that they have solid concerns someone is in the country illegally.
A train derailment resulting in injuries happened in Franklin, Ohio this Thursday morning. Officials said the incident was reported around 10:30 a.m. in the 600 block of Oxford Road. Minor injuries have been reported among the train occupants, but no civilian vehicles or bystanders were involved. The Franklin PD asked the public to use alternative routes while the incident is being investigated.
Good evening, Portage County, and welcome to today's forecast. My name is Lillian Dravick, and I'm so happy to be back at Kent Stater TV. Let's start with our statewide temperatures. So all around the state, it's a beautiful upper 70s, mid 70s degrees day. It's been sunny all day. It's been a little windy, but it's really beautiful all across the board. Athens down here, 76 degrees and sunny. Cincinnati also 75. Columbus in the middle here, it's a little cloudy, but still has that beautiful 75 degree weather, excuse me. Akron, Canton, 72 degrees. And then up by the lake in Toledo, it's a little bit colder with 64 degrees and sunny. Let's take a closer look at the Northeast Ohio region. Let's zoom in here on Akron, Canton region. All right, so again, it's pretty beautiful up here, lower 70s, upper 60s, Kent with that 68 degrees right now. It's clear tonight, so you'll be able to wave hi to the Artemis 2 as they pass across the moon. And then Akron, Kenton, 72, 73, a little colder down south as we go, and then up by the lake, 73, and 60 in Sandusky. Well, that is all the time that I have for this block. I hope you are enjoying the nice warm weather that we have right now, but when I come back, I'll bring you even more good news for my summer weather lovers. Stay tuned for a look at your week ahead.
Thanks, Lillian. Two new bill proposals aim to restrict sports betting in Ohio, legalized 3 years ago by Governor Mike DeWine, who now says he regrets it. Sports betting has entered the headlines this past month. 3 Republican lawmakers in the Ohio House of Representatives introduced new restrictions, hoping to mitigate the public health crisis associated with the legalization of sports betting. One bill aims to determine how much and how often people can bet. The other is to end promotions and credit card wagering.
Eligible male citizens from the ages 18 to 25 will automatically be registered for the military draft. A new registration process was approved by Congress under the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026. The purpose is to streamline the previous process and save money.
Traffic in the Strait of Hormuz causes oil prices to rise. Crude prices have been up to $100 a barrel since this Thursday morning. Despite the price drop on Wednesday, the average gas prices is still inching up, averaging $4.17. Global stocks and the U.S. pre-market trading declining is suggesting that investors might be wary as the 2-week U.S.-Iran ceasefire deal seems to be on shaky ground, with most ship owners not wanting to test it.
Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered his cabinet to begin negotiating with Lebanon as Iran says Israeli attacks violate the ceasefire. The negotiations will emphasize on disarming Hezbollah and establishing peaceful alliances between Israeli and Lebanon. These comments come in 303 people killed in Israeli strikes Wednesday.
Iran takes control of the Strait of Hormuz and is talking about charging tolls. Senator Chris Van Hol spoke out this Thursday morning on the Iran ceasefire deal, affirming concerns raised with the Strait of Hormuz not being open and the following Iran's 10-point plan that Trump posted that the U.S. will follow. The senator removes doubts on whether the U.S. military could obliterate Iran's forces, but reinforms the idea of what purpose, at what cost, and at what risk is for the war. More changes are coming to the Southwest Airlines surrounding the uses of rechargeable batteries. We'll be back with what this change looks like.
We have updates on a controversy within the CDC regarding delayed COVID vaccine reports.
Registration for Lavender Celebration is open now. Lavender Celebration is a historic pre-commencement ceremony held to honor queer graduating students. Now hosted by Pride Kent, this event will be held on April 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Kent State Student Center Ballroom with a community reception at 5. Join us for a free dinner and award ceremony with keynote speakers, and watch the graduates walk the stage and receive our iconic rainbow stoles. Bring your friends, family, and absolutely anyone, regardless of how you identify. Scan the QR code or go to the link below and register today. Registration closes April 20th.
First, they said cigarettes were safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens? Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
Did you know that children growing up with poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children that grow up with good air quality? And unfortunately, poor communities have poor air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this. Today, the IQ Air Foundation provides filtration technology to schools with poor air quality through our Clean Air for Kids program. Our goal is to help over 50,000 school children every year breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, helping to level the playing field, reduce barriers to learning, reduce sick days, and increase test scores. Mitigating poor air quality is key to environmental justice. Help Clean Air for Kids reach more children at IQAirFoundation.org.
Well, Claire, I start every day with a nice cup of coffee. What about you?
I do. I love coffee so much, and our own Sam Stover reports a brewtastic story.
Thank you, Claire. That's right, guys. Calling all book lovers and coffee drinkers, the Kent Free Library collaborated with Bentry Coffee yesterday and offered a coffee tasting.
The Kent Free Library offers many events each day, and the coffee tasting adds a little flavor to their programs. Bentry Coffee provided insight to the history of coffee and brought a sampling of the beverages that they have to offer.
We are going to be talking about coffee from its origin in various countries across the world, all the way to different brewing processes, the best way to brew coffee at home, and then how you go about roasting coffee, and a little bit about our business, Bentry Coffee Roasters.
Their goal was to not only educate the audience about the best way to make coffee, but to also spike interest for Bentry Coffee Roosters. They also wanted to combine the two popular hobbies, reading and making drinks.
The library's awesome. I mean, they do programming, all sorts of varieties of things you can come and learn, activities you can come and do, as well as a wealth of information that you can check out from the library, even down to entertainment. Their program directors are amazing and do an awesome job of keeping a full schedule of fun activities from the community.
Bentry Coffee has been open since 2011. They sell coffee, brewing equipment, and store merchandise. The inside of the cafe is study-friendly by offering outlets and lounging space. They will cater events and will make small gift bags for the guests.
Support your local community. Your local library is so important. I think it vastly is important to show up, support your library in every way you can, and one of those ways is to enjoy the programming that somebody's worked so hard to schedule.
The Kent Free Library hosts events every day. Various clubs meet weekly, such as the Mahjong Club and Craft Nights. They offer a variety of book clubs, gaming events, and writing intensives.
The Kent Free Library has an event with author Nora Noose on Saturday, and Bentry Coffee is open on weekdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and weekends from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. For KSTV, I'm Sam Stover.
Thank you, Sam. Well, now turning to some national news, the U.S. Postal Service say they will be applying a cash conservation plan. This new development will suspend employer contributions to workers' pensions, as the USPS Chief Financial Officer says postal operations could suffer. The purpose is to increase borrowing authority and change pension investment strategy.
Southwest limits portable chargers in their carry-on baggage starting April 20th. The new rule requires chargers to be stored under the seats or stay with the passenger. The lithium batteries can't be recharged using the in-seat outlets during flights. This comes after the FAA said that over a dozen lithium battery incidents have happened this year involving smoke, fire, or extreme heat.
Keeping you informed and ahead of the storm, this is your KSTV weather.
Welcome back. The rest of this week's weather put a little spring in my step, but before we get into what the rest of this week looks like, let's start with a recap of today. So today, the high was 78 degrees, and then afternoon storms, you can expect some storms later on today. It was beautiful, it was sunny, it was pretty windy though throughout the day with western 15-mile-per-hour wind, and then that sunset is later tonight at 7:59 p.m. All right, let's take a look at tomorrow. So tomorrow you can expect some afternoon rain and it's 69 degrees tomorrow, some afternoon rain. Pretty high chance of rain throughout the week as well, but not the weekend. You're gonna see a pretty colder weekend on Saturday, but you won't have as much of a chance as rain, and it's gonna warm up on Sunday with 78, and it's just gonna stay warm throughout the rest of the week. Be sure to get outside and take advantage of this warm weather before the spring thunderstorms come rolling in. For KSTV, I'm Lillian Drabick.
Good evening, KSTV. During this evening's health segment, I'll bring you the details on a new Colorado drug testing laws and more. After Holly Bennett, a Colorado resident, was wrongly charged for possession of cocaine after a colorimetric test flagged a pill in her purse, Colorado lawmakers implemented new legislation. This new law prevents colorimetric tests from justifying an arrest, and judges must notify defendants of their rights to follow up tests before pleading guilty. A study led by researchers with the University of Pennsylvania found that colorimetric tests are wrong up to 38% of the time. A study posted in the journal Neurology stated that a high-quality plant-rich diet lowers the risk of Alzheimer's and other dementias. Researchers found that over a decade, people who restrict unhealthy foods saw about an 11% drop in dementia risk. Additionally, researchers found that diets consist of ultra-processed foods increase the risk of cognitive decline. Experts suggest such foods such as whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and nuts to protect cognitive health. Controversy shrouds the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention after a report on the effectiveness of COVID vaccines was delayed. The study originally scheduled publication in the agency's flagship journal in March, but it was delayed by the then standing director, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya. Dr. Bhattacharya raised concerns over the methodology, stating that results could be inaccurate. A former CDC official calls the move unusual, but a spokesperson for the CDC states that it is routine for leadership to review research before its publication. CDC statistics indicate that the U.S. fertility rate is at a record low. The CDC indicates that 3.6 million babies were born in 2025, showing a % decrease from 2024 and a 20% decrease in the past 20 years. Additionally, American women are waiting longer to have children. Declining fertility rates can have lasting effects on the economy. The Trump administration has implemented policies to try and encourage people to have more children. For Kent Stater TV, I'm Alex Brown.
Thanks, Alex. Well, Wrigley Field has big plans set for September. See what it will be hosting for the first time ever.
The Guardians picked up another series win yesterday, defeating the Royals. We'll see who helped Cleveland pick up the win against their division rival and more.
Hey, I'm worried about your parents. We need to show them how to spot phishing emails.
Agree, the scammers are out of control.
And we need to show them how to use a password manager.
Yes, we use MFA at work and it's great.
Great cake.
I'll use MFA to verify my purchase. Software update? Done. Time to celebrate.
For more information on how to keep yourself and those you care about safe online, go to cisa.gov/secure our world.
Chicago's Wrigley Field is hosting its first ever volleyball match for a women's Big Ten volleyball doubleheader. The games are scheduled for Sunday, September 6th, with Nebraska set to take on Missouri and Penn State facing Kentucky. Well, now we turn to our sports correspondent, Maddox Miller.
Maddox, I'm curious if you will be at the Wrigley Field in September for this volleyball game.
No, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to make it to Chicago, but I am looking forward to the event regardless, as it is a part of a growing trend of hosting volleyball games outdoors, like Nebraska playing in their football stadium in 2023. However, volleyball is still in its off season, and here at Kent, we have some sports in the full swing of their season. So let's start with some action on the diamond, as the Kent State baseball team yesterday took on the Akron Zips at home for a one-game series. The Flashes won 12-7 to increase their win streak to 5. It was redshirt freshman catcher Nolan Belcher who led Kent State with 4 RBIs, 3 coming from a home run. Sawyer Solitaria, Brody Williams, and Colton Schaller all contributed 2 RBIs of their own in the win. Next up for KSU is a trip to DeKalb, Illinois for a 3-game series against Northern Illinois starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Staying on the diamond, the Kent State softball team also welcomed the Zips for a doubleheader yesterday. Kent State dropped both games to get swept in the 3-game series, marking their first losses at home. In the 4-2 first game loss, it was first baseman Megan Clarout and shortstop Alex Trevina knocking in the lone 2 runs. Up next for the Flashes is also a trip to DeKalb for a 3-game set against Northern Illinois. This series begins Saturday at 2 o'clock. We're now going to take things to the majors as the Guardians hosted the Royals. Guardians haven't lost a season series all year. Going to look to keep that trend going. This was Game 3. Chase DeLauder is going to get a hold of that one. 5 homers in the big leagues, leading MLB. He's going to knock in 2 runs here for a 2 RBI double. DeLauder has had a phenomenal start to his rookie campaign. He's just going to stay on fire. We take it later to the game where Jose Ramirez, Mr. Cleveland himself, Mr. Guardian himself, is going to get a bloop shot into the gap. Going to be recovered by the right fielder there. This would also score another run. Ramirez with an RBI double. Cleveland taking control of this one early. It would be 6-2 at this point, and Angel Martinez is going to smash a grand slam, make it 10-2 as the Guardians are going to get the home victory here. Fly out here for the final out. Cleveland improves to 8-5 on the season. 10-2 win over the Royals. Now, wrapping up on the golf course, the Masters began today. While the day hasn't fully finished, there's currently a tie for first between Sam Burns and the defending Masters champion Rory McIlroy after shooting 5 under. It is then a 4-way tie for third between Kurt Kitayama, Jason Day, Patrick Reed, and last year's runner-up Justin Rose, all shooting 3 under. The second day will tee off at 7:45 a.m. after a tightly contested day 1. And that is all I have for you today. To stay up to date all things Kent State or more, head over to KentStater.com and make sure to follow Kent Stater Sports on Instagram. For KSTV, I'm Maddox Miller.
The Akron Zoo attendance is on the rise. We have the details on their record-breaking numbers and more after the break.
Spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Day at Akron Zoo with almost 8,000 guests. They broke the previous record set back in May 2025 by just 8. The zoo was celebrating Wear Blue Day on April 8th. That was to raise awareness about child abuse and neglect prevention. All guests in blue received free admission. Akron Zoo is a nonprofit that was founded in 1953. Parking is free and kids under 2 get in free. Admission rates start at $11.
Well, that about wraps up our time this Thursday.
For more stories in your community, be sure to check out KentStater.com. I'm Abby Kress.
And I'm Claire Duber. Have a great night, Portage County.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Class, today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused, fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. it always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to the Shelter Pet Project